All right. So if you weren't here with us in the sanctuary, you missed out. But thank you for being here in person, those of you who are. So come and join us. I'm talking to the folks up there. Yeah. So let's stand and sing some songs here. Welcome to Unity in the Seven Hills. One, two, three, ready, and go. Now is the time to open our minds and let in the light. Now is the time to open hearts wide, let in the joy. Receiving God's love, receiving God's peace. We're gathered together as one. Now is the time to open our minds, let in the light. Now is the time to open hearts wide, let in the joy. Receiving God's love, receiving God's peace. We're gathered together as one. Now is the time to open our minds, let in the light. Now is the time to open hearts wide, let in the joy. Receiving God's love, receiving God's peace. We're gathered together as one. One more time, everybody. Now is the time to open our minds, let in the light. Now is the time to open hearts wide, let in the joy. Receiving God's love, receiving God's peace. We're gathered together as one. We're gathered together as one. One, two. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope you guys have had a good week. Looking forward to a great Sunday. Know wherever you are, God's always with you, and you are always standing on holy ground. Let's sing. Look down to see what was given to you and me. Right here we know the power that we hold to kindle the spark, so we can light up the dark, show others the way, let them see a brand new day. say we are all that we need to be. Because we're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, whoa, sing that with me now. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Let's see if you can do this bit with me. Inside, outside, we can rally, break the fire with a perfect appointment. We can raise vibrations high, living into integrity. We can help the world to see, being all we can be. We can lead humanity. Inside, outside, we can rally, break the fire with a perfect appointment. We can raise vibrations high, living into integrity. We can help the world to see, being all we can be. We can lead humanity. Cause we're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. Let's move a little bit this morning. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, whoa, 3 more times now. We're standing on holy, holy, yeah now. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Whoa, whoa, yeah. We're standing on holy, holy, yeah. We're standing on holy, woo. We're standing on holy ground. One more time with me. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. We're standing on holy ground. And we got one more up-tempo song for you guys to sing with us. Let's swing wide the doors. The time is right. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud, out loud. I understand what the fear I'm for, and what this life is about. Let's talk next time. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
morning, Unity in the Seven Hills. Wow, band, congratulations. Let's start off by blessing that unity candle with that great affirmation. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives. God, the good, omnipotent. In the Daily Word, and we'll read the Daily Word a little later, but they're affirmations for the month. And the affirmation for this month for faith is, the road ahead may be unseen, but I walk by faith and not sight. I wish I could tell you, you do all the Unity 5 basic principles, you're doing meditation every day, you're connected to that angelic realm, and you're never going to hit a pothole, you're never going to get a metaphysical flat tire or anything else like that. That doesn't appear to be the deal. It will still come and things will happen, but I think the deal is more like Noah and the flood. Floods will come, but when we are spiritually centered, we, like Noah, have an ark which we can get over what the crisis was. Emmett Fox, that great New Thought teacher, called it the golden key. And as a matter of fact, I have in my, it's brass, it's not gold. And the door to my office is always open. But it's a brass key. I have a brass key on my desk to remind me of Emmett Fox's golden key, which is very simple. Emmett Fox says, whatever the crisis du jour is, don't even pick it up. Don't even go there. Don't even waste your time thinking about it before you go over here and you really think about what is your relationship to your higher power. What do you really, honestly, truly believe to be spiritually true? Like we just said over the Unity candle, one presence, one power. And once that is cemented, I have found this to be the case. Oh my God, the crisis du jour, Emmett Fox's golden key, turning to that and start remembering my relationship, that I was born blessed and remain blessed, that I am truly one with the one. And then, a strange thing happens when we get in that mindset. Nothing may change in the outside world, but our consciousness has changed, and that makes all the difference. Sometimes it's like I look and I say, here is the solution. Now, what was the problem? What was the, what looked like, oh my God, we'll get through it. And we always have gotten through. We'll get through this flat tire, as it were. It's really, truly powerful. And as a matter of fact, we go through Unity's 5 principles, one principle each time. And if coming up would be that principle, is that first principle which we talked about. Let's say it together. God is all there is and is present everywhere. This is the force of love and wisdom that underlies all of existence. The problem is, I don't know about you, but I have a forgetter. It seems it's a forgetter inside which forgets that. And so that's important. That's where Emmett Fox's golden key comes in. It's the reminder. It's the reminder. And I just accept, I have a forgetter. And when I can remember that stuff and align, then things really start to flow. Let's just go into a prayer moment. Dear Spirit, thank you for our many, many blessings. And where there are challenges in our lives, may we see these challenges as opportunities for more spiritual growth. This growing season of summer is soon going to change into a harvest season of the fall. And we know that our harvest will be wonderful and that the best is yet to come. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen. If you're new to Unity or new to Unity in the Seven Hills, I'm not going to ask you to stand up or embarrass you or anything else like that, but we do have a packet which our greeters can get to you. It's a packet which explains about Unity. Also in it is about Unity in the Seven Hills. There's a QR code which you can pull up. A lot is going on. Something's going on here almost every day. And there's a lot, I think, that's here that will help your spiritual walk. And afterwards, come on downstairs, right there over there, come on downstairs and join us for fellowship. We're going to be celebrating our September babies, our September birthday, so there's cake and fellowship. And I guess with the kids, emphasize cake. But wonderful fellowship, and we hope to see you there. Speaking of kids, we are so fortunate to have a wonderful youth and family ministries program. Thank you, Crystal, for all that you are doing. Why don't we bless the kids and send them on their way? And now let's bless them. You are a perfect child of God. And God and I love you just the way you are and wherever you are.
Let's stand and sing. Let's get some energy up in here. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I said, I'm gonna let it shine. Gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine.
Thank you. One person suggested to me, said, when we then say the mission and the vision statement, maybe we should say it a little slower and reflect on it a little more, because I think they're very, very powerful. So let's say it a little slower than usual, and here comes our mission statement. Let's affirm it together. Unity in the Seven Hills is a vibrant, inclusive community that inspires individual spiritual growth through education, prayer, heart connection, and sacred service. And our vision statement, we are an inclusive community centered in spirit. We embrace our divine oneness, power, and purpose. And I've asked Peg to come forward if you could read today's daily word.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today's word is care. I am here and I care. Sometimes my heart goes out to a friend or even a stranger who is struggling. Other times, my heart breaks when I learn of another's devastating news. In those moments, I feel the urge to help. I pray, affirming healing, peace, or comfort. I may offer financial support or material goods. I might call on the phone or visit in person. Even so, I may feel my efforts are not enough, especially when needs are great. But the impulse to care is in many people, the activity of God streaming through so many hearts and hands. As I join my effort with theirs, I trust we can lift up even the most dire situation. I am a caring presence, ready to help, serve, and love. And from Thessalonians, so deeply do we care for you that we are determined to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you have become very dear to us.
Thank you, thank you. This month is Yoga Month, and we are having readings about for National Yoga Month. Ari, would you come on up and... There we go.
There we go. Okay. First off, does anyone know why bagels are bad at yoga? They can't find their center. Also, one time, Bonnie told me that I could fix my posture with yoga, and I didn't believe her at first, but I stand corrected. So this is National Yoga Month. To recognize this, we will cover 2 of the 8 limbs of yoga every Sunday. Today we are covering the 3rd and 4th limbs. The 3rd limb is asana. And this is the poses and flows that you all know so well. So I don't want to get into that too much because we all know that kind of yoga. But I will say that Patanjali, who wrote the Yoga Sutras, reminds us that the physical postures should be steady and comfortable. So any of you who practice, remember that. It shouldn't, maybe a little pain, but don't push yourselves. The 4th limb is pranayama. This is one that I work in a lot. That's breath work. There are so many forms of this. You can alternate nostrils. You can activate the binds in your body. You can connect the inhale to the exhale for long periods of time with dramatic effect, or even use the Wim Hof method until you can hold your breath for no less than heroic amounts of time. There are so many forms of this, but for classical knowledge's sake, the original prescription in the original text for yoga is 1, 4, 2. That's inhale for 1 second, hold for 4, and exhale for 2. So all you yogis, now that you've heard asana and pranayama, be sure to join us Mondays at 6:15 for yoga and Thursdays at 6 for meditation to continue your yoga journey.
Thank you. And I might also add Thursdays, Ari is leading a wonderful one-to-oneness class where we're reading Ram Dass's great classic, Be Here Now. And now we have some special music going forward.
So this is another new song that I wrote, and I was going to write something that was that went entirely with the talk, which was doing the work. So actually, a song came to my mind. Started working on something similar, and it totally changed. And I found out it's all up to me to do all the work. I used to look for solutions outside of myself, thought the answers would be found somewhere else. Through the pain and the blame and all of the shame, I left myself right there on the shelf. And then I began to see, if I want to be all I can be, that the only thing holding me back from my dreams, it was me. And with work and with time I create with my mind my realities. It's all up to me. It's all up to me. Oh, yeah. It's all up to me. It's all up to me. Oh, it's all up to me. So I looked through the dark, dusty corners of doubt. I saw all of the weeds and began to pluck them all out. And in time I defined with the power of a mind, brought all of those walls crashing down. Then I began to see, yeah, if I want to be all I can be, that the only thing holding me back from my dreams, it was me. And with work and with time I create with my mind my realities. It's all up to me. It's all up to me. Oh, it's all up to me. It's all up to me. Every fear, every doubt, can't let them take hold it's all up to me. Every fear, it's all up to me. Every doubt, it's all up to me. Every thought, it's all up to me. Gotta work them all out. It's all up to me. It's all up to me. Oh, it's all up to me. That's his guitar, it's all up to me, yeah. Oh, it's all up to me. It's all up to me. It's all up to me. Every fear, it's all up to me. Oh, every doubt, it's all up to me. Every thought, it's all up to me. Gotta work them all out. It's all up to me. 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 It's all up to me.
Wow. Thank you, Unity Band.
Isn't it fun having a band?
Yes, it is. Well, as many of you know, there was a bear, a real bear in our backyard. Nobody was hurt except the garbage pail, but I've been on the lookout, for bear stories since this happened. And Peg told me one, and the story is about a hiker, and he was in the West, and he's hiking way in the wilderness and all this, and all of a sudden, a huge, humongous grizzly bear, claws, comes charging down at the guy, and oh my God, the guy looks up, he looks up to heaven and says, "Please, Lord, change this bear into a Christian," where all of a sudden, divine light came down from heaven, surrounded the bear. It was like the bear's aura. An angelic look came over the bear. The bear got on his knees. He put his paws together in prayer, and he bent his head and he started praying. "Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And may I truly be thankful for this meal which I am about to devour." But let me tell the story. This is the next one. It's a true story. True story. And it's about a guy, Enrico Fermi, who, great Italian-American physicist. Fermi Lab is named after Enrico Fermi. Thanks to Hitler and to Mussolini, he came to the United States. And so, and I'm sure many of you have seen the movie Oppenheimer. He played a role in all that. So it's after World War II. After World War II, true story. And it's at one of these government labs, and they've convened a lot of physicists, leading top physicists for this conference, and what should be the future direction of our study. And so it's lunchtime, and everybody's in the cafeteria. So Enrico Fermi comes out with his tray, and his food's on, and he looks up and he says, "Where is everybody? Where is everybody?" And then they said, "Rico, we're here. No. Where is everybody?" And then they started to get the idea of what he was talking about. Where is everybody? We had developed radio telescopes, powerful radio telescopes, made them look at the cosmos, trying to get the signals from other civilizations, extraterrestrial, and we had no signals, nothing. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? And this experience, Dr. Frank Drake, came away from this and came up with the famous Drake equation, which essentially a string of variables. And the neat thing is You get to pick what each variable is worth. How many planets? Let's say we're looking in the Milky Way. How many suns are there? How many suns have planets? How many planets are in this Goldilocks region, not too hot, not too cold, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, down to a last. And you plug in estimates for each one of these, and it would tell you how many intelligent civilizations should be out there. And I want to really concentrate on that last variable in the Drake equation. The last variable in the Drake equation is if an intelligent civilization forms on a planet or an intelligent species, how long does it last until essentially something tragic happens? It blows itself up in a thermonuclear war. It pollutes itself off through selfishness or whatever, pollutes itself off the planet, or some other disaster happens. Now, it's interesting. We're starting to get a lot better, how many stars, let's say, are in the Milky Way? How many have planets? We're getting, it's not down to the third decimal place, but, at the time of the Drake equation came out, we hadn't seen any planets around any other star except our sun. Now we have. How many are in the Goldilocks region? We're getting a sense of that. But the one variable we really don't have, any hard data on is that last one. So if an intelligent species comes, how long does it go on before it blows itself up or does something else really stupid? And there are essentially two schools of thought on that. I mean, it's a little simplistic, but essentially there are two schools of thought on this. The first school of thought, probably the most famous practitioner in the first school of thought, is Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud wrote a book called, I don't agree with it, but it's a wonderful book, Civilization and Its Discontents. Freud said that essentially the way you make a society is you sublimate and you suppress aggression, sexual, civilization is based on essentially a pressure cooker. You put all these aggressive things and you bottle them up, and up comes civilization. The problem with that is, in a pressure cooker, you can only keep it in for so long before it keeps on blowing up. And so by Freud's standard, peace is just a short period in between wars. And it's, and in terms of, pollution, it's just a matter of time before selfishness dominates. So if you're in that school of thought, this last variable, how long does this go on? Relatively, by the cosmic scheme of things, intelligence, quotes, intelligent civilization, it's only a matter of time before, but there's another school of thought. And in this other school of thought, I would put Carl Jung, Abraham Maslow, Viktor Frankl, and quite frankly, I would also put Charles Fillmore, co-founder of the Unity Movement, who wrote about this. And essentially, this other school of thought believes that what we're seeing is a process of the evolution of consciousness. The process of the evolution of consciousness. Yes, it may be 5 steps forward and 4 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, but it is a long-run view. It is an upward spiral and positive spiral, despite all the heartbreak, despite this. And it's not that picture that Freud and others have pictured. I remember my first Unity minister, Helise Green. She used to lead us in an affirmation. We are in the upward, forward, progressive movement of spirit. The mark of success is upon us. Why don't we say that together? I'll say it again, repeat, and then maybe we can say it together. We are on the upward, forward, progressive movement of spirit. The mark of success is upon us. Let's try to say it together. We are on the upward, forward, progressive movement of spirit. The mark of success is upon us. And why do I bring this up? We have been looking at creating a beloved community? The neat thing is that the talks are online. You can download them. Go to the website or our Facebook page. It's easy to download. The first week we talked about what is a beloved community, and I mentioned that basically it's based on ideas and writings of Dr. Martin Luther King, and has been really encapsulated by Reverend Jim Lockhart in this wonderful book, Creating a Beloved Community, which has enthralled so many New Thought leaders in recent years. And in a nutshell, Jim defines it as, Reverend Jim, I see the beloved community as people on a spiritual pathway who seek a closer relationship with God, however named and defined, and as people who will take their spiritual awareness into the world to be examples of love and compassion in action. The beloved community is about being truly dedicated to walking your talk, to being in full alignment with spiritual principles. And I also talked about several unity communities, San Francisco, Unity in San Francisco, Unity in Houston, which I think are beloved communities. And the neat thing is one, it's a happening place. It's a place you don't, it's Sunday, should I go to church? You want to go to church if, you're connected with the San Francisco or the Houston communities. And not only that, it's great attractors. It's great attractors. I mean, things start to, really flow in. And I also said, ironically, I think a lot of this, in terms of creating a beloved community, is happening right here in Lynchburg. And I listed, so many incredible things. It just sort of, you are on that virtual upward spiral. The next week, we talked about, however, there are obstacles. What are the common obstacles that come? And we talked about those obstacles and what can be done. What can be done to overcome those obstacles? And then this week, I want to talk about, again, the bear in the room, usually the elephant in the room. I'm going to switch it to the bear in the room. The bear in the room is, to create a beloved community, there's some hard work that's involved in this. And I want to talk about two of the forms of hard work that are really needed to create a beloved community. Let's face it, to go back to, Rico, where is everybody? And all that, if you're on the, this sort of Freudian first school, we're on an upward spiral in Lynch, Unity in the Seven Hills. But if you believe this, it's only a matter of time before we blow it, before, we come into one of those obstacles I talked about and we don't overcome it. But I hope you're not in that school. I'm in Charles Fillmore and Viktor Frankl and Carl Jung. I'm in this school, and Abraham Maslow. I'm in this school, where, it may be 5 steps forward, 3. I'm not going to say we'll never take a step back. But when we, Myrtle Fillmore said, look beyond appearances. Look beyond appearances. And if we do that, then I do think we can see our challenges as opportunities for more spiritual growth. And I want to talk about 2 forms of, actually, I guess 3 forms of hard work that I think are, there are more, but let's just, Mark Twain said nobody was ever saved by a sermon that went over 20 minutes. So let's try to live up to that dictum. The first bit of hard work, believe it or not, is believing that it is possible. It is believing that it honestly, truly is possible. And I talked about that. You see signs, Rome, Paris, London. And I said, why not Rome, Paris, London, Lynchburg? Or as I said, Unity in San Francisco, Unity in Houston. Why not Unity in the Seven Hills in Lynchburg? And I think sometimes it is so hard to believe that it is possible for us. And I want to remind you that Jesus did not say, Jesus did say, I am the light, you are the light. He didn't say, I am the light, and when you came out of the factory, batteries were not included. It is really possible, and I know I've gotten into this mindset. So, Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly. And you sit there and think, well, Jesus came and said, everybody else is going to have life and have it abundantly except me. Or it is the Father, it is the Creator's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And we can translate it into, it is the Father's good pleasure to give everybody else the kingdom, except me. And to get over that, sort of somehow, that we have the mark of Cain, or that, Groucho Marx said what he would never want to join a club that he would be included as a member. If the club wanted him, you didn't. To get over that garbage, to get over that garbage thinking, and to believe first that, and that can sometimes be tough work, to believe that it is possible. And I love it how more and more of us are saying, we may be small, but we are mighty. We may be a small community, but we are mighty. And you know what? We're growing. I mean, to the point of, we're concerns about the parking lot and how are we going to get all the cars in, and asking the people next door, on Sundays, can we park there and stuff like that. We had, there was a time we had no YFM program. Now we have a YFM program, and you know what the challenge is? The challenge is we got to get help for Crystal. So, those are beautiful I'll give you one more. It used to be on Sunday mornings, you could, from the top part, you could enter this place from this door or that door. We now have a beloved band with a wonderful musician. Guess what? You can only enter through one door now. These are challenges. These are lovely, as we start to grow. These are wonderful, challenges. These are wonderful challenges to have. But the first thing, again, is believing that it is possible. Second bit of hard work. What does this so often is that we don't grow spiritually. We don't show spiritual maturity. I have seen it happen in more congregations. That if we're going to continue and really be a beloved community, we have to show that kind of spiritual maturity, which comes from daily practice, from prayer, meditation, from journaling, from really developing that relationship with Spirit where we can be, honest, having spiritual mentors. Let me tell, and this is a true story, which I think one shows not only the importance of spiritual maturity and growing that, but what could happen if you don't. And so it's 2010. I am on the Board of Trustees of Unity of Fairfax up in Northern Virginia. I go to the minister at the time, Reverend Donna Johnson, and I say, Donna, you know that I do this for United Way, and we create what are called nonprofit scorecards. Nonprofit scorecards measure different variables, how a nonprofit is doing. We're asked to do this all over the country. I'd love to do one of these for the church because, I think it's important because a lot of times for-profit organizations have metrics and things they have to, they're standards they're trying to meet. A lot of times in nonprofits, it's really loosey-goosey. And, these scorecards help. Donna said, that would be great. How would you do it? Well, we can do it inexpensively with SurveyMonkey. Some of it we take financial data, attendance data. We would survey the congregation. Are you being spiritually fulfilled and all this? We'd also survey the employees. How are we doing with them? That sounds wonderful. Let's go ahead and do it. Donna talks to the board. The board says, okay. And so we start. 2 weeks later, Reverend Donna Johnson gets a call from Unity World Headquarters. They want her to become the president of Unity Worldwide Ministries. Wow. Donna's off to Unity Village. We get a new minister. The new minister comes in. I talked to him about this. He says, well, Rick, I'm not so sure we should be doing this. And as we start, as the new minister starts having some real qualms about doing this, several people in the board raised and said, we're about spiritual transformation. How do you measure spiritual transformation? I mean, this is nonsense. I came away from that meeting, I'm asked, around the country. We're paid big bucks to do this, and I'm going to do this. You know what? I don't have to serve on this board of directors. I mean, I'm off to seminary in a few months. This is what you want. Then, because I had been really doing spiritual direction and things like that, another voice inside my head went on and said, Rick, is that really the way you want to leave Unity in Fairfax? Don't take this personally. The new minister has some fears. It's understandable he has some fears. Why don't you go to the next board meeting and say to them, it's up to you. If you want to do this, we'll do it. If you don't want to do this, it's fine with me. I thought, you know what? That was not my initial reaction, but that's probably the best thing I should do. I went to the board and I said, I understand. And, quite frankly, you're right in terms of how do you measure spiritual transformation? We're looking at proxies. But why don't, if you guys don't want to do it, it's fine with me. I'm okay with it. And they said, no, let's take a month to think about whether we should do it or not. Okay. In that month time, in came data, the employee survey data. And we thought we have a wonderful relationship with our employees. Our employees love us. And what came back was a lot of them, you can take this job and shove it. You've been dishonest with us. You haven't, you say you're Mr. and Mrs. Spiritual, and yet you've not treated us properly. Whoa. I brought that to the next board meeting and said, there's evidence from, we have a problem with staff, and I brought that, and their reaction was, oh my goodness, did you know that? I didn't know. We got to do something. We really got to do something. So after that discussion, I then said, well, the scorecard, if you want to discontinue it. No, you kidding me? You show this, do you have the data yet from the survey of the congregation? No, you got to continue doing this. And interestingly, 3 or 4 months ago was the Unity Worldwide Ministries convention. And that minister, who, I'm not so sure about doing it, he said at a plenary session, he said, and we did this nonprofit scorecard. And I really want to thank Reverend Rick Bellis for doing this, because it really helped us see where we could make adjustments and change. I almost fell out of my seat when I heard him say this. But you know what? That never would have happened if I went in there with a chip on my shoulder and said, if you're, it's either my way or the highway, or you guys are you're scared and that's why you don't want to. In other words, the lack sometimes of spiritual maturity can so be the shot in, it's like shooting yourself in the foot. It can be that bear in the room, as it were. Spiritual maturity is so important. And it's not just, the board, or not just the president, not just the minister. It's everybody's business. And it comes through working these steps, working these principles. And if you have a congregation, which, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but is working on that spiritual maturity, boy, that is one which is going to create a beloved community, and it's going to grow. It's going to grow. It's going to be a positive attractor. The next bit of hard work, and I know that's hard work, the next bit of hard work gets to, I want to talk about, is volunteering. I'm going to talk about another Italian. His name was Vilfredo Pareto. Pareto was an economist and a sociologist. Pareto said that 80% comes from 20%. 80% of what? 80% of anything comes from 20%. We were amazed at United Way, because 80% of our dollar contributions came from roughly 20% of the donors. In other words, you're going to get almost most from a relatively small group. And so 80-20 rule holds in so many, many things. And it's true about volunteering. Roughly, a lot of churches, 80% is coming from 20%. Unfortunately, a lot of Unity churches that I've known and been associated with, it's beyond 80% coming from 20%. It's more like 90% coming from 10%, or 95% coming from 5%. And the problem with that is that's not a stable situation. You're going to get burnout. You're going to get burnout. And so as I'm thinking about this, as we create, boy, oh boy, what a wonderful challenge. We had no IFM program, and now we have Crystal, and we have to think about, Crystal can't handle just herself, that's a beautiful, beautiful challenge. But if we don't come forward, if we're not volunteering, if we're not stepping up, then the forward progress that we're making on YFM will, it will go. I mean, the fact that we have to ask our neighbors about where we can park, that's not a bad thing. But if we don't solve that situation, it could be, why I never can get a parking space. I'm not going there. So in other words, I think we have, to an extent, gone beyond the 80-20 rule. And we're more like 90 from 10, sometimes 95 from 5. But the other thing which I was thinking about in terms of volunteering, it's really incumbent upon us to create volunteer situations which are well designed, well thought out, because it's horrible when somebody volunteers and they show up and there's nothing, there's nothing really to do, and you haven't really thought this out. An area in our church which we really have thought out, and I wish I could take credit, but I can't, it was done by other people, prayer chaplains. Prayer chaplains is a well thought out program. People volunteer, they're trained, there are things to do. They formed as a group. It's more like a baseball team about who's going to get the ball. I got it, and it functions very beautifully. I think we have to do that in more areas. Yes, we need more volunteering, but for we as a church to think out our volunteer activities better. The other is somebody came up to me and said, Rick, we don't recognize our volunteers enough. We don't do enough to recognize our volunteers, and I agree. And so you're going to be seeing more of ways of which we're going to try to recognize the people who come forward and honestly do volunteer. And so I think all of this boils down to a few key points. First, believing that it is possible and really worthwhile doing. Creating a sustainable, beloved community is possible in Unity in the Seven Hills, and it certainly is worth doing, and we can do it. The second is accepting, inevitably, there are going to be potholes. I mean, that second group didn't say, it's all, it's the good ship lollipop, it's all going to be upward and all, 5 steps forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward. That's, seems to be reality. The next is, though, the importance of our really spiritual maturity. I love what Jim Lockhart says about spiritual awareness, sometimes he calls it. Having an awareness of your own emotional states, moods, motivations, and dealing with the old wounds. So much sometimes, I have found this to be the case. If I feel offended, it's not really what happened in 2023 that makes me offended. It's touching something which happened in 1973. And getting back to those old wounds and trying and working on healing that. So the work on spiritual maturity, which is difficult but is doable. And lastly, I think it is very much also tied to volunteering. But I think it is incumbent upon Unity in the Seven Hills to make sure that our volunteer activities are thought out as well as I think the prayer chaplains have been thought out. And also that we recognize and honor our volunteers and realize how golden, there's a lot of other things they could be doing with their time, treasure, and talent. And to be so thankful when it is dedicated to something which Unity in the Seven Hills is trying to do. And so, Mr. Bear, I say to you, we are going to create a beloved community, and we're well on the road to doing it. And quite frankly, we have barely gotten started. So there. Thank you, and God bless.
Oh. So we're going to sing the perfect song. I don't know necessarily, I get a few words about the message, but this is the perfect song for us to take into meditation. So as we're singing this together, and as you go into meditation, let's think about what it is for us to give. I've got something, I feel like with the 80-20 rule, that there's something else too. Because if we have more people step up, I think we'll get to the 20%, but the 20% might be a lot more people, so we'll have to have a bigger church, and that will come about. I've heard that with, I've witnessed some talks and such online where they say you have 6 people for every one person doing something within the church. So let's sing, no more talking. Let's sing and act and find what it is for us to give. What is mine to give? What is mine to do? All I want is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you. What is mine to give? What is mine to do? All I want is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you. What is mine to give? What is mine to do? All I want is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you.
Let's take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Let's take another deep breath in and slowly let it out. Let's close our eyes if we feel comfortable doing so. I ask you to think of a place or a time where you really did feel that connection with Spirit. That you really, truly did feel one with the One. It wasn't even theory or anything. It was truly experience. And to feel that peace that passes all understanding, and that radiant joy, and that love, and that sense of total forgiveness. And to ask that question, what is mine to give? Maybe a simple act of kindness. It may be dedication to a spiritual practice. It may be taking more time for self-care. And we ask that question, what is mine to give? As we go into the silence. Dear Spirit, we are on the upward, forward, progressive movement of Spirit. And we know that the mark of success is upon us. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen.
Surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Where I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. Let's stand and proclaim that truth. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well.
Thank you. Please be seated. When I started showing up at Unity in the Seven Hills, we used to call it resources. And I think, instead of just announcements, to look at this as resources to enhance your spiritual walk. I'd like to start out. I think I know we've announced this before, but I don't think it's been conscious to a lot of people. The Eastern Region, Unity Eastern Region big event is happening, and we are so honored that our music director, Daniel, is going to be front and center in that. Daniel, could you come and just tell us a bit about what's going on?
So usually they have one musician doing the music for the whole event. Last year it was Ricky Byers Beckwith, and this year I'm actually sharing the limelight with Safi, who is from Maryland, and she's a Posse Award winner and writes great music. And we not only are we going to be doing all of the music for the whole event, which is October the 1st to the 4th, we'll actually be sharing the stage as speakers, doing a talk on music lessons, life lessons on Monday. And there's lots of great speakers.
Are you broadcasting it or doing streaming?
We're going to do it from
here.
From here.
From here. This building.
Actually, I'll be doing my music from here. But you've mentioned Jim Rosemergy.
Yes, Jim Rosemergy.
Plenty of times, and he's speaking right after us on the Monday evening. So, if you would like to sign up and maybe we'll do something from the church where you can watch it from here. But if you would like to sign up and see me do all the music from Sunday to Wednesday.
People like Daniel Nahmod and others have been, at these types of events. This is really a great honor, and can we just say, and we're going to include the whole band.
Yeah.
We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Thank you. Wow. Another bit of good news, it is World Day of Prayer, which is coming up this Wednesday. Unity started out as a prayer ministry, and prayer remains at the center. We're going to be doing some really wonderful things this Wednesday for World Day of Prayer. Sally, could you come on up and would be incumbent on me to give you a working microphone. There we go. Well, one of them.
This one?
No? Try that one.
This one?
All right, we're on.
Okay. So you see a little slip like this close to you in your chair. If you please fill that out of prayer request. We're going to be praying for this coming Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Also, it's the World Day of Prayer. So your names will be sent to Unity, where they will be held in constant vigil for 24 hours. This is very, very powerful, everyone. When you fill it out, you can give it to any prayer chaplain, myself, or any of the others, Donna or Daniel. You can give it to them. You can put it in the basket, or there is a box at the back. Also, at 1 o'clock this coming Wednesday, we're going to be gathered here, and the prayer chaplains are going to hold our prayer vigil, and we're also going to have a program called Heart of Healing. Heart of Healing. And we're going to be showcasing, and it's going to be experiential, so you get to experience multiple healing modalities from practitioners here in our own congregation. So I encourage you, if you just yearn for fellowship, or if you have an urgent prayer request, please join us. Please join us here at 1 o'clock. At 8 o'clock p.m., you can join the Worldwide Unities Conference via your, you can stay at home, you don't have to come to church, but you do have to sign up. There is a link. See me and I'll give you the link. But be sure and fill this out and put it in the box or give it to someone.
Thank you. Thank you. And we do hope to see you here at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. It's going to be a powerful prayer service around Unity's World Day of Prayer. Then the next, and that's this 13th, this Wednesday. The following Wednesday, September 20th, a wonderful new group is starting. Pamela Smith is leading it. Pamela's gone downstairs to help volunteer, I guess, for the fellowship afterwards. It's called All Things Mystical and Metaphysical. So join Pamela. It's going to be Pamela on a wide variety of topics, including past lives, crystals, dreams, divination, manifesting techniques, healing, you name it, angels. Sign up. There's sign-up sheets in the back, or please speak to Pamela or speak to me. You can either take it coming here on Wednesdays at 1, starting on the 20th, or it is also going to be online. On Tuesday, October 10th, our prayer chaplains will be doing the annual pet blessing. The annual pet blessing. Bring your furry and scaly friends over from 4 p.m. to sunset in our barking lot. For some laying on paws, and if you do, we think you will be missing catastrophe. So come on down. That's on the 10th for the pet blessing. We're looking for individuals to help us, again, volunteer for the Sunday broadcast. And if you could speak to Ari, and Ari would be a good person, or Paula, please speak to them about that. We're once again partnering with Blaze Pizza to host a community fundraiser. Join us after the service on Sunday, September 17th at Blaze on Wards Road. And it's really going to be wonderful. Pick up a flyer and join us. After this service, we are going to be doing the candle lighting. Our prayer chaplain today is Sally. We'll be there after the candle lighting. And also, if you're watching at home, like, comment, or subscribe, and click the bell icon for notifications. May I say something? Ari has started to put up clips. He'll take like 15-second clips and put them up on Instagram and Facebook, which I think are powerful. If you see them, or if you see anything else on Facebook or Instagram, Unity 7 Hills, if you like it, please click like or share. Sharing is really powerful. And again, after service, fellowship downstairs, and we're going to be particularly celebrating our September birthdays. Jim Rosemergy was mentioned. Jim Rosemergy, wonderful Unity minister, wrote a great book called Even Mystics Have to Pay Bills. And we're so thankful for the contributions that we have. Let's say that affirmation. Unity in the 7 Hills is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us. And we accomplish mighty works together. You can give online through Zelle, PayPal, etc., or snail mail. It works a little slower, but it still works. We're going to ask folks, come on up, come on down. Please, your vibrations and blessings are important. Take an affirmation. Spend some time with the Unity candle, and then either left or right circle, and we will circle up. And now comes something wonderful.
Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside. Wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine out. Yes, we can. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine. Yes, we can. Something wonderful, but do something wonderful that me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine out. Yes, we can. Something wonderful. So let's bless the gifts together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. United in mind, body, and spirit, I dedicate these gifts as they grow to bless our community, our neighborhood, and our world. Now, before we do the peace song, we're actually gonna do our birthday song this week. So, any September babies, come into the middle of the circle. No. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday to you. And many more. And let's close with the peace song. Thank you for being here this morning, and we'll see you downstairs. Come and join us. Come and join us. You. After candle lighting. Well, these folks downstairs after candle lighting. You come and join us next week. And then don't forget, Blaze next weekend. So, let's do it. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yeah.